welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders special. You know what it is, that time of the month. That's right. With the king of the screens, as I call him, is going to be on deck to talk about what's popping off this month for June 2024 on Crackle. That's right. The one, the only, the legendary Mr. Chris Woozy, baby. How you doing?
I am doing great. How the heck fire are you doing? It's been too long since I've seen your face.
You know what I mean? It's been a minute since last month, my gosh, and how these months are flying by. But you know what?
Sorry about that.
I mean, no, apparently the door agrees, mi gente. Everybody agrees that Crackle is just cracking and getting it, popping off. And it's wonderful because we're going to have a whole lineup to show you of some dope content that you need to be tuned into this month on Crackle. And of course, as far as it's all free, absolutely free. That's FREE, baby. All right, so this is what we're going to do with Chris. We're going to give it the rundown. Right now, let me bring it in on deck. Woo! That's right, baby. So, right here, once you get off mute, everybody be able to hear you, which would be wonderful. And then we can talk about.
This is a dumpster fire. First, my stupid dogs are yelling, and then I'm muted. This is a mess. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Don't you love it? That's what it is. That's what happens when we do things like this. But talk to me. A season 2 of this, right?
Yes. So this is season 2 of our Crackle exclusive influencer competition series, Follow Me. Super fun, hosted by Bethany Moda. She's a lifestyle influencer, YouTube content creator extraordinaire. And it's a competition show where we have internet influencers in a variety of different genres. We've got comedians, we've got fashion divas, we've got content creators. We even have someone that's big in the cosplay scene who you might know, Al, because you rub elbows with those sorts of folks at the comic book conventions.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very fun stuff. It's sponsored by Mars Wrigley, the candy company, and they, the contestants, promote a different Mars Wrigley product every episode. So it's Snickers, Skittles, Hubba Bubba, mini gum. I mean, you name it.
Hey, Chris, you're in California. You can't talk about Skittles. It's like drugs now. I'll just send you some if you want, though.
Man, be careful what you're mailing me. But it's super fun. And then they have celebrity influencers like JoJo Sim and Kim and all these huge YouTube and internet influencers. And they come on as guest judges. So not only do they kind of help the contestants improve their influencer game with the content they create, but they also judge the final products on each episode, and they decide who gets eliminated and who's going on to the next round. It's super fun. If you like candy and you like internet personalities, it's an awesome show. It launches this Thursday, June 13th. It's going to be very fun. Check it out exclusively on Crackle.
Hey, exclusive, folks. You hear that? Oh, I can't wait. It sounds like hella fun to watch. And now we got Operation Repo.
Dude, this show is awesome. So my dad used to always tell me, don't buy things you don't need with money you don't have. And if I had a nickel for every time my dad told me that, I would be a wealthy man. Unfortunately, I didn't always listen to my dad, and that's where my credit card statement comes from. But this show is about an automotive repo company. It's for fans of like Dog the Bounty Hunter. I don't know about you, Al, but if I walked by the TV and an episode of Dog the Bounty Hunter was playing, I would sit down and I would watch like 115 episodes. Like I'd wake up and it'd be Tuesday and I wouldn't have eaten and my kids are, looking hungry it was addictive. Well, this show is the same way. We've got 6 seasons on Crackle. It's about this crazy cast of characters who work at this repo company and all the insane scrapes that they get into every episode. Really, really fun. It's reality TV at its best.
There we go. I can't. And then we got. Oh, I know these people.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is, you know, we were talking about sort of the struggles that Hollywood is experiencing this summer. And, you know, other than Furiosa, there's not a ton of great, like, summer action films coming out. I'm a little disappointed, but Crackle's got you covered. We have tons and tons of free action films. Survivor is one of my current favorites because it's got some of my favorite performers in there. It's Mila Jovovich, and she plays an overseas operative who is trying to stop a terrorist action from taking place in New York. In the process of this, she runs afoul of some nasty characters who actually frame her for a crime she didn't commit. And Pierce Brosnan comes in as an assassin to take her out. So you get to see him play a villain, which we don't get to see a lot. Dylan McDermott's in it. He's phenomenal. All kinds of great actors in this. I really, really like this film. I highly recommend it.
All right, it sounds actually really cool. I haven't watched that one yet. But then we got Red. Oh, snap.
So this is one of my, I've got 2 favorites this month. One is the one we just talked about, and now Red. First of all, I'll watch Brian Cox read the phone book. I don't care what that guy does. I am on board. Remaking Three's Company? Sure, I'll watch it. I don't care. I love Brian Cox. He's amazing. But so this movie is basically John Wick with an old man. So Brian Cox plays this cranky retired guy who all he wants to do is sit on the edge of the river and fish with his 14-year-old dog. Well, one day he's out there, these punk kids from town come by, and in the process, they kill his dog. So I don't know about you. I'm a big dog person. You don't touch my dog. Brian Cox goes into town and confronts Tom Sizemore, who is their dad, and also, oddly enough, crazy, and tells him what the kids did. He doesn't believe them. He doesn't believe Brian Cox, and hijinks ensue. It's like adult Home Alone with guns and explosives. It's awesome. That's all I'm going to tell you. All I can say is you've got to watch this movie because Brian Cox literally kicks ass in this.
Not for nothing though. Does he not give you Sean Connery vibes in the picture?
Oh, always. I mean, he's just got that gravitas that like most actors don't have. He's just awesome. I'm a huge fan. Man,
gravitas and moves. Holy
I
shit.
know this is your jam. You have seen this, have you not?
Oh, absolutely. This is a great flick.
Yeah. So I don't know how much people know about martial arts films, but in the martial arts world, Ong Bak is like probably one of the most respected franchises next to Jackie Chan movies or Bruce Lee. I mean, Tony Jaa is considered one of the greatest Muay Thai aficionados of the last 30 years. He's just amazing. And it's like when you watch Jackie Chan for the first time and you went, there's no way he was really doing these stunts himself. And then you watch the outtakes and you're like, oh no, he absolutely was doing the stunts himself.
And you see him get hurt, you're like, oh snap.
Oh yeah, he broke his foot and then made the rest of Rumble in the Bronx with his foot in a cast. Like, it was crazy what that guy did. Same thing with Tony Jaa. Like, he's literally just running up walls that are 15 feet high, and you're just like, I don't know how a human being does that. Like, it's crazy.
Come on, Chris. I know you could do that. You've done it before.
Well, I don't like to brag, you know.
And talking about bragging, let me go, man. I know this show. I'll tell you, as a Puerto Rican, if I'm cooking in the kitchen and you're screaming at me like like he screams at people, I will probably throw the hot plate at you.
Yes, Gordon Ramsay is a vocal individual. I love this show because I love cooking, and I did restaurant work for a long time before I got my act together. And so it's like every time I see him screaming at people and like chaos in the kitchen, I think two things. One is I've been that guy, and two is I am so glad I don't work there anymore.
I've been it. Thank God I'm no longer. All right.
Amen. It's great. Right. We've got 1 billion seasons. Check it out, Hell's Kitchen. You know what it is.
Well, all right. Before we move on, I must ask, this out of curiosity, did you ever have someone that was as nightmarish as this guy was in your experience?
No, but I had a chef named Vicente who I dearly loved, and he was awesome. But if you screwed up, he let you know it in no uncertain terms. There was no mystery about what was going on. Let me tell you, if Vicente was mad, you knew it.
I salute to Vicente and the honesty. You know, at least not getting murdered in the woods. What's going on here? Oh shit, we got Machete, Sheriff Machete.
Machete, you know him. So I live in LA. In LA. Danny Trejo, I think he owns every business now. He does tacos. He's got a donut store. I don't even know what else. I think he sells women's underpants now. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh man, yo, that has a mustache on them.
He is the king of franchises in LA. It is ridiculous. And this is an awesome. So I love homages. I'll watch any of them. But this in particular is. This movie, Murder in the Woods, is an homage to 80s slasher films. So it's things like, obviously, Friday the 13th, but Sleepaway Camp, all those, like, you know, outdoorsy murder movies. And we've got a ton of those on Crackle this month. So.
Oh, word? Oh, man, I got to sit down and watch those. You know, that's my favorite genres right there.
Because we have Sleepaway Camp. It's really good.
What the heck is this? I don't remember this.
Dude, this movie is intense. So one of the many things that our programming team is really good at is digging up these gems that should have gotten huge play in the theaters, but for whatever reason, when they came out, they were up against something much bigger. They were up, you know, maybe up against a Marvel movie or something, and they just sort of like went in and out faster than they deserved to. Preservation is one of those movies. It's really, really taut. It is a freaky thriller, and I love movies where you're like, "Wait, no, this is what's happening," and then 10 minutes later, you're like, "No, that's not what happened. It's something completely different." And like you can't tell what's real and what's not. And that's this movie. It's a couple go out camping, and a brother-in-law goes with them who just returned from active duty. And while they're out in the woods, somebody steals all of their gear. They wake up one morning and they've got nothing. And you can't tell if it's the brother-in-law or the brother-in-law saying that they're being stalked by someone else. And you keep going back and forth, whether you think it's him or whether you think it's somebody else. It's awesome. I love psychological thrillers. And this one kind of skirts the line between that and horror. It's really fun.
Dig it. And then we got Solo.
Yes. Solo is another cautionary camping tale. This is starring Annie Clark from Degrassi, The Next Generation, which was a huge hit. And if you were an 80s kid like me, you knew the original OG Degrassi. But this is about a young woman who gets a job as a camp counselor. And so she shows up to the camp, and it ends up that in order to become a counselor, you have to do this rite of passage where you stay, where you camp by yourself on this island in the middle of a river over the weekend by yourself. And so she goes to do this, even though she's kind of freaked out a little bit. And then while she's on the island, she realizes that she's not actually by herself. There is absolutely someone else there with her, or something. Very freaky.
Excellent. And then we got Still.
Oh, so I really like. They disturb me, and it's kind of hit and miss. But I really like A24 films. I think they do an incredible job of the psychological terror genre. And this movie, while not an A24 film, has that exact feel to it. The performances are through the roof. Lydia Wilson from Star Trek Beyond is amazing. Nick Blood from Babylon and Madeline Brewer from The Handmaid's Tale. So Lydia Wilson plays this young woman who is hiking through the Appalachian Trail and kind of gets off trail and is not feeling that well. And she kind of stumbles onto these homesteaders who are kind of living off the grid in the middle of nowhere, Appalachia. And the couple takes them in. They seem very nice, although odd. But while she's there, it just incrementally gets stranger and stranger and stranger and stranger. It's really good. Highly recommend checking it out.
All right. Yeah, I like this. It gets more intense.
It ends up, the couple is protecting a secret that you do not see coming. It's just watch it. It's great.
I'm digging. I mean, there's not many secrets here. This poor girl got a bloody action. She's screaming what is popping off. The hype.
Yes. So this is kind of in the tradition of I Spit on Your Grave, kind of those exploitation.
Okay.
Yeah. And so there's about a bunch of girls in Australia. They go for this hike/camping trip. While they're out there, they run into a bunch of rock climbers, and then some awful things begin to ensue, and you can't tell who's actually causing all the havoc. It's got a little bit of what's going on in preservation, but really taut, very freaky, and keeps you definitely on the edge of your seat. Check out this one. It's very cool.
Hi. All about survival, folks.
That's it.
Lastly, we have Time Crimes.
Yes.
Look at that mask. That is creepy.
It is. This is kind of an indie darling. If you like Christopher Nolan type movies, this is another kind of time travel film. You have never heard of anybody in this movie. Well, maybe Barbara Gonaga from Supernatural, but it's got a bunch of no-name people. It was done on a low budget. If you Google this movie, people lose their mind about it. It's really, really popular, especially in the indie film world, because they made this thing for like $12 in a chicken sandwich. I mean, it was like ridiculously low budget, but it's super cool. And if you like the movies of Sam Raimi, especially his early stuff, kind of Evil Dead, it's got that that super gritty indie feel to it, and the story is very fun. It keeps you guessing, and check out Time Crimes.
Oh man, I mean, folks, there's stuff you gotta check out. You know, you check it out right here on Crackle with the app or the website crackle.com. You know what I mean? Check it out on your phone, your TV, everywhere. It is absolutely gratis.
Gratis para you.
I mean, check it out. You know, what we just spoke about here is just but a tad, a small portion of what's available on this amazing platform they're bringing you. I mean, so stop spending your money in these other platforms that are giving you nonsense. I mean, Crackle got a Crackin, bringing you the action this month and every month. You know, and Chris is gonna keep coming. He's gonna keep preaching the goodness, because you gotta understand this is where it's at, all right? Chris, thank you like always, man, for hanging out with me and talking about what's coming, what's there. I can't wait to again sit down and get fat on the sofa and watch some good Crackle stuff.
That's it. Get your Crackle on.
Yeah, man, get your Crackle on.
Thank you, brother, man. I appreciate it.
Later, guys.